Hello, and thank you for joining my live. I want to talk to you today about shame and what we can do, when you feel like shame is just eating you up. Okay, in this live, I want to, this video skipping, sorry. In this live, I want to talk about, what we can do. So if you're in this space of just feeling deep shame, and you feel like it is just stopping everything that you want to do and be in its tracks, just be reassured that that doesn't have to be where it stays. It doesn't need to take over our lives. I'm going to just talk to you today about why it happens, how it's linked to trauma, what it can cause, but actually how we can work with it as well to resolve it. So just quickly, if people aren't aware of me at the moment and the work that I do, my name's Anna Rushmat. I'm a hypnotherapist and wellbeing coach, and I specialise in trauma recovery. And the reason I do this work is because that was my own journey. So my healing journey started 15 years ago, and I healed from childhood sexual abuse. So everything that I work with, everything that I do now, everything that I put into my programs is all of the stuff that helped me, to regain my life basically and find my true self, because I never felt like I was really my true self. So just a quick background on me. So let's talk about trauma. Let's talk about how it's linked to shame. But also I would encourage you, if you think that you're not traumatized, then, great. But equally, kind of keep an ear open, still watch the live, keep an ear open, because this could still relate to you. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people can be traumatized, but by those things that, we may think about as being the smaller things in life as well. So these things may still apply. It's all to do with the subconscious mind and the patterns that it runs. And how it learns things as well. So, do keep listening. And if this resonates, of course, get in touch with me. This is what I'm here to do, to help with. So trauma will create a whole array of negative emotions. We've got fear, we've got anxiety, we've got anger was a massive one for me, and just real deep sadness, and also that sort of the sadness and the anger that goes with, well, why did this have to happen to me? Why was this my story? But the biggest emotion that will creep in over time, and it won't necessarily start like immediately, but it will creep in over time, and it will just get worse over time. Sorry to say that to you, but it will do. But as I say, we can resolve it. But the one that will creep in over time and will be completely debilitating in some cases is shame. Okay, and that shame, because it grows, will also really hinder our healing processes. And it can be completely overwhelming, and it can completely wipe out, any joy that we may feel. When I hesitate with that a bit, it's because I never really felt like I'd felt joy in life. But it will stop us being able to find that joy and be able to live like a really stable kind of healthy life, and what we may see other people experiencing as normal, we don't feel that we're potentially ever going to get there. So just to very quickly give you a distinction between guilt and shame, and therefore what shame is and how it can really affect us. So guilt, when we feel guilty about something, we will feel bad about something that we did or didn't do. Okay, so whatever example it may be, if you completely forget to pick somebody up, or that's a really sort of high level case, but that would be feeling guilty because you'd feel guilty about the event, but you still know that within yourself you're still a valued individual. The difference with shame is that shame, we internalize it, so we feel bad, but we're feeling bad about inherently who we are. And the trauma will kickstart this. You know, I work a lot with sexual abuse cases because that's my background, and shame is just piled on in with, you know, any kind of sexual abuse, sexual violence. It's all kind of linked with feeling powerless, helpless, feeling like it's our fault somehow, feeling like we should have been able to protect ourselves. Why didn't we do that? You know, and it just comes, you know, it just floods in this feeling of being at fault, but then just, you know, internalizing that and just hating who we are, just hating ourselves, you know, and beating ourselves up for it, you know, on a daily basis. And it's where, you know, we're hurting ourselves, we're blaming ourselves, and it's just has such a detrimental effect on us, and it just wipes out our self-esteem, our worthiness. You know, we don't feel like we're worthy, we're lovable, we feel like we're massively flawed. You know, it'll just wipe out all of that. And that, of course, is going to have a massive impact on our lives. You know, it's going to impact our relationships. It's going to impact how we look after ourselves. You know, it can cause neglect of ourselves. It can cause us to, you know, run destructive behaviours, you know, basically abusing ourselves, our body. So whether that's self-harm, eating disorders, drinking, smoking, you know, drinking too much. I mean, I definitely was in that camp of drinking way too much, you know, from a shame point of view, from a point of view of not wanting to dull the emotions, from the point of view that one of my symptoms was chronic insomnia. So ironically, drinking too much was a way that I could help myself sleep. So, you know, and then you wake up and you feel bad because you've drunk too much again. So we slap another load of, you know, shame in there. Honestly, it's just this cycle that just keeps going. Okay, and this is the reason that unless we grab hold of it and we work on it, and I promise you, you can work on it and it can be resolved. But unless we do that, it's just going to carry on because the shame just keeps adding to its own little cycle, basically. So it can cause us to, you know, self-sabotage. It can cause us to become a perfectionist. It can cause us to work ourselves to the absolute bone because, you know, we have to prove that we're good people. But what happens is, because this is a subconscious emotion, the shame sits in the subconscious. It's just going to keep, you know, running and running for us unless we can get in there and resolve it. So we could, as I say with all of my work, you know, we could go and talk about this. We could talk about it in counselling, we could talk about it in coaching, and those things will help, but they'll take an incredibly long time to start having some effect really in that, and we won't be able to resolve the core issue. Okay, because that core issue, that root cause, sits within our subconscious mind. So unless you're working with something that communicates directly with the subconscious, then you're not going to be able to clear this emotion, you know, and clear the impact, the massive impact that it has on our everyday lives, you know, and that knock-on effect that it will have, so that cycle keeps going for us, that shame cycle. It makes us believe that we don't deserve, you know, good relationships. It makes us so damn angry, you know, just fly into like real rages. And I've probably been there for all of that. Probably done all that. So, you know, take this as testament that, you know, I've come out of that world. It takes, you know, commitment and investment to do it, because it's not necessarily going to be easy as such, but it is doable. So what do we do? So when I work with my clients, we are working with the subconscious mind, so we can get in, we can discover where that root cause is, why it's there in the first place. Now you may know very clearly, you know, your traumatic events in life, but there may also be things that have happened that you're not necessarily aware of, and you're not necessarily aware that that's been logged as kind of a program that would then generate the shame, or adding to the shame that you may be feeling. And it doesn't necessarily, a lot of it will go back to childhood stuff generally, but it doesn't necessarily have to be so. So it can be something that's, you know, happened at any point within your life experiences. So my work is all about helping women to discover, challenge and correct what's been spoilt for them during their life's journey so far. Okay, so we can get to that point of just living as our true selves, you know, showing up as who we are, being able to live in the present, you know, and live from that space of stillness and calm and joy and inner peace, rather than just being in this, you know, fight, flight, just chaotic, confused, you know, mess was how I used to always feel. You know, hopefully people aren't going to feel as extreme as that. There may be some, but, you know, and actually no, if you are really feeling that broken, you know, absolutely there's help out there. So please do give me a shout. So we work with the subconscious. We go in to discover what the problem is in the first place, and then we look at challenging that and actually correcting it. Okay, so this is where the resolution comes in. So we don't need to sit there for months, years on a counsellor's couch talking about the same thing and going over and over the problems, the issues, and we don't then have to find ourselves in this space where we're trying to manage symptoms or cope with them. You know, I see this a lot, I hear it a lot, and I just find it so painful to hear, because, you know, essentially that's where I was as well, and I was trying to manage everything and things were just getting worse. So this is a big part of my work, is doing this education piece around, you know, there is help out there, but you do have to, you know, find the right therapy. If you're deeply traumatized, or if you're traumatized, you need to find the right therapy, which is going to work with the subconscious to get those root causes out, so that we can stop this kind of just talking about things kind of over and over, which will help to a certain extent, but it can never ever get to that real root cause. Okay, so I work with my clients in discovering, challenging, correcting these things that have been, you know, spoilt for us in our journey, and with shame, you know, that's some relatively sort of intense, well it all is, but it's, you know, relatively intense work to really get in there to start making these changes. Within my online mastermind, there's a whole section around guilt, shame and forgiveness, because it's such a major deal. And when we start making those changes, you know, when my clients work with me, they will see and feel, in the same way that I did as a client myself, you will see and feel the changes starting to happen like straight away. Honestly, it is quite incredible. But you'll also then start, you know, seeing things shifting in your life, changing in your life, because you're changing how your subconscious is focusing, which will change what you're attracting in the world, you know, to come to you. And it will start changing as well, you know, even to the quality of your relationship. So for example, if you're not in a space, if you're wanting to be, you know, start dating, for example, then if you start working on any of these underlying kind of shame feelings, anything that's happening in the subconscious that's not working for you, you're going to start to see that you're attracting different people coming into your world. I have totally 100% experienced that myself. So if we don't work on this, unfortunately, shame is only going to build. Okay. It will, this sounds doom and gloom. It will get worse, but I don't mean it as doom and gloom, because, you know, there is help out there. So, you know, I work with so many women on this shame issue, because, you know, there is an element of, we learn this in society as well, you know, we learn so many various lessons as we grow up through life. Plus then if we've had traumas on top of that, or big experiences, big, you know, upsetting experiences in our lives at any point, doesn't need to just be childhood, then, you know, it is going to affect everything that we do. So sorry, but it will get worse, but there are answers to working on it. So if any of this resonates and you want to get in touch, then please do. I am more than happy to have a free discovery call with anybody that would like to learn more about where they are now, you know, where they want to be, what we need to, where we need to bridge that gap in between. And also then I can talk to you, if I feel like we're a good fit to work together, I can talk to you as well about my various programs that I run to see if any of those, you know, are the right fit for you as well. So please do get in touch. Please know that there's an answer to this. You are not alone. I don't want anybody to feel like they're, you know, feeling desperate and alone, because that is the worst feeling. So take lots of care. Please do get in touch if you need to, if you want to, and I'll see you soon.